The second project that we want to work on is leadership and communication. Now, it's an Islamicized program, but we're not telling people that. We will tell people it's a leadership and communication, so the parents can send the youth. Send my child to do some sort of communication and leadership skills. This will be based on Toastmaster, right? So whether people belong to a Hanafi faith, whether people are Jamaati inclined, whatever you're inclined, everyone come here with one goal, and that is developing your leadership and communication skills. So you cannot, a non-Jamaat person cannot condemn a Jamaat person by saying your pants are over your ankles, and this is wrong, and this is wrong, or your pants are above your ankles. No, this is purely on leadership and communication basis. You meet once a month in groups of 10. So you could meet in a masjid after Isha, right? Once a month, the last Sunday of the month. You need 2 hours. You could meet in a restaurant where you'll have dinner and you have your program. You could meet in various clubs. Doctors could meet their staff in hospitals, at the clinic. Accountants could have their own group. Families could have their own group. Brothers and sisters could have their own group. Nephews and nieces could have their own group. But long as you do it on a regular and consistent basis. Based on Toastmaster, you have to firstly do 20 speeches and you get a certificate, able speaker. Then you do another 20 speeches and you get another certificate, competent speaker. And then you do another 30 speeches and you get a certificate, distinguished speaker. Now that 60 speeches, if you're doing it once a month, will take you 5 years at the minimum. But you could join other groups and other communication and leadership groups and let it go faster. So your topics are divided into 4 sections: Quran, Hadith, Islamic literature, and general. In Quran, someone has to prepare a topic on Quran. So if you're preparing on interests, you will look at all the Quranic ayahs on interests, and then you will look at the Hadith and present your discussion. When you present a topic in competent communication and leadership skills based on Toastmaster, you will be critiqued. So someone will have a sheet, and they'll have a standard sheet which will show eye contact, voice tone, movement of gestures, walking, pacing, calm, relax, and that will all be standardized things. So when you talk, someone is giving you a critique, and you're going to get feedback. So if you're talking for 10 minutes, at least 20% of that 2 minutes feedback should be given to you. But constructive feedback. Okay? When you talk for 10 minutes, there's going to be a timekeeper's report. On 9 minutes, they'll give you a light, which is an amber light. On 10 minutes, which your topic is for 10, you'll get a light, which is a green light, which means you need to be careful now. And if you go to 11 minutes, they'll give you a red light, which means you failed. But technically you won't fail, but in their eyes means you haven't done the ideal thing. And the reason why this will be a fail, but you don't have to repeat it, it'll just be a comment that you didn't pass it. The reason why the time is so important is that you have to rehearse this in advance, and you have to time yourself so that you know if you've prepared well, you'll keep to your time. The first topic in able speaker should be on yourself. So telling the group who you are, what your goals and objectives. And from the second topic onwards, you will speak about Islamic topics. So you talk between 3 to 10 minutes, preferably 10. When you go for a competent speaker, you talk between 10 to 20 minutes, preferably 20. When you go to a distinguished speaker, you'll talk between 20 to 30 minutes, preferably 20. As a distinguished speaker, you could give lectures in public, in the mosque, and get someone to critique you and give you a pass. So when you talk on your topic, someone will critique you, give you a sheet, and you will take that and put it into your index file A to Z. At the end of the index, you'll say, able speaker, topic 1, number 1, topic 1, and comments. And your Amir in your group will mark it out that you passed. When you got 10, they'll give you a certificate, able speaker. When you finish after 10, you get able speaker. When you do another 20, you get competent speaker. And when you do another 30, you get a distinguished speaker certificate. Now, when you're talking, it is not a sermon. You have to research it well. You're meeting once a month, so you got the whole month to research. And you're planning, and you're thinking about your topic. So you're learning at the same time. In your index, if you're talking about interests, then under I, the rest of the group, including the sergeant of arms who's doing your timekeeper, including someone who's giving you critique, can make their points about interests. Because when you write it, you remember more. And also, you got a chance to go back to your notes. So this file that you have will get thicker and thicker as you go along. And this will be your lifetime project. So the first topic is Quran. The second one is Hadith that someone will talk of. Third one is Islamic literature, where you talk about it, summarize a chapter or a book. And the fourth one is general. Now in general, you could discuss whatever you want. Self-improvement, the Ummah, whatever you want. If you want to talk about the Muslims in India, you can talk about it. You want to talk of why the Muslims are so weak in India, you can talk about it. You want to talk about how to improve your communication skills, you can talk about that. You want to talk of how to be efficient on the computer, you can talk about it. So whatever you want to talk about, you talk about it to improve yourself in the general. So everyone in your group will try to pick a topic, time permitting. The Amir will make sure that people are talking. There is no force. If they don't want to do it, that's fine. Let them work at their pace. But everyone will have to talk impromptu for 1 minute. So the Amir will give 10 topics in his group, 10 pieces of paper numbered 1 to 10. And he'll say, number 1, open your piece of paper. You got 1 minute to prepare. And when you start, number 2 will open his paper because he's got 1 minute to prepare also. And the topics will be very general. For example, the Khulafa Rashidin, honesty in Islam, the truce of Hudaybiyah, Muslims in Bangladesh, and so on and so forth. So you are developing yourself all the time. You are developing your communication and leadership skills, and you are learning Islam at the same time. So you got Quran, Hadith, Islamic literature, where you summarize in, you pick in a book. So if you haven't finished the book, you could summarize a chapter or few chapters, whatever you feel comfortable with. And then general, as we said, you can discuss everything. You meet in once a month and do it on a consistent and a regular basis. Now, with knowledge without action is not going to get you much. So with the knowledge that you have in, you need to have an action program of 1 hour of community work a week. Some people might say for 1 hour, I'm going to post articles, Islamic articles on Facebook and monitor it. Another person might say for 1 hour, every time they talk anti-Islamic things on the media, I will note it. Another brother will say, you note it. I will prepare a response in my 1 hour. Another brother will say, my English is good. I will look at your response and correct it for you. Another brother will say, I will take that final edition of that response and email it to all the newspapers. So that could be his hour. Another brother could say, you know what, in my 1 hour, every time they talk any anti-Islamic things by the government, I'm going to either respond to it by email, or another group will say, I'm going to go toy Canberra. Another group in America will say, we'll go toy at the White House. A group in UK will say, we're going to toy at the British Parliament. So everyone is doing some work 1 hour a week. Some people might say that I want to have a demonstration on a Saturday about the Muslims being treated unfair in Palestine. But to get to the city, to prepare the demonstration might take in total 4 hours. So he'll say, every week my 1 hour will accumulate to 4 hours, and I will do that once a month. Another brother will say, I need to visit a prison, which takes 4 hours. So once a month, I will go to the prisons and have a talk and have a presentation and talk to brothers. Another brother will say, I want to visit an orphanage. And that would be once a month for 4 hours. Another brother might say that I want to visit old age homes. So whatever you're doing, do it on a regular and consistent basis. Another brother will say, in our group, I want to develop our website. Another brother will say, you know what, I'm good in strategy. I'm going to develop some strategic ideas for our group, for the Muslim Ummah, and put it on the website. So everyone is doing 1 hour of community work a week on a regular and consistent basis. You don't need the whole community. If 5% of the community does it, we will be effective. Long as we're doing it on a regular and consistent basis. So you got knowledge. Knowledge without action is nothing. You got your action work 1 hour a week. And with that comes the third aspect, your finance. Now, everyone should make a contribution towards finance, which is voluntary. It's a recommendation. We don't argue with people, you haven't paid your money and you haven't done this. So my suggestion in Australia would be $5 a week for your mosque, $5 a week for lillah, and $5 a week for zakat. If you feel you're giving your zakat to people in Africa, and that's your money there, that's fine. You do that. Another group might say, you know what, we are a group of 100. Our $5 for lillah, we will accumulate it. 100 times 5 is 500. And in a year, in a month, you have 2,000. And in a year, you have 24,000. We will once a year invite a few international speakers to come to all the major cities and do a seminar once a year for 3 days at every city, at every major city. Another group will say, we will invite alims that could come once a year to our locality and have an intensive program for our community. Everyone could do it in the whole city. So whatever you want to do, you do it. No argument, no force. If you don't want to do it, fine. If you don't do it in the group, fine. If you want to accumulate your money and give it to accumulate your zakat and give it to people in India, that's fine. Whatever you're doing, do it on a regular and consistent basis. A recommendation: we live in a non-Islamic environment. Whatever we collect, except our zakat, as a recommendation, maybe we should take 10% of that and give it back to our non-Muslim community. Whatever percentage you want to decide, you do. So for example, there's a natural disaster and the community has been affected. Take that money and forward it to that area where that natural disaster is, and mention it's from the Muslims, so they know that the Muslims in their country are making an effort to be part of the community and help the community. Because we know that in charity, what your right hand gives, your left hand shouldn't know. But in this case, you're doing it so that they can identify with Muslims that they are doing something for the community. And that's the only reason you should make it public. So you got your knowledge, you're meeting once a month, you got your action program, 1 hour a week, you got your funds, finance, and the third way is to grow your organization. And you do it by using network marketing. So every person who joins has to recruit only 5 people. When they recruit 5 people, then they go to that 5 people and assist them to get their 5 people. So 5 becomes 25, 25 becomes 125, 125 becomes 625, 625 becomes over 3,000. And in that way, you're growing with strength. You don't want numbers, you want quality. So you continuously take your 5 and work on them. And they only need 5, nothing more, because people are busy. So we do something, a small amount, on a regular basis. And that will grow the ummah, inshallah. So you got your knowledge, you got your 1 hour action, you got your finance, you got your network to grow your organization. And next, you need to assimilate. Since you're living in a non-Muslim country, you need to assimilate in the environment. And my recommendation, other people might have different, is that you need to meet 50 non-Muslims on a weekly basis, of which at least 25 should be new people. When I mean new, is that you can't meet 5 people every day. If you meet 25 people twice a week, that is fine. So if you belong to a soccer group and there's 25 people and you're meeting, there's maybe 15 people and you're meeting 3 times a week, that's 45, it's not good. You need 25 new people. So that'll be 15, right? You need another 10. If you're a shopkeeper and you're in business and you're meeting people at work, 10 people, that's part of it. So long as you're meeting on a regular basis, 25 new people, totaling 50 a week with repetitions, that will show that the Muslims are assimilating. They're not keeping only to themselves. And we should do it on a regular and consistent basis. Certain places that you go, if it affects your iman and you feel you're not strong, then you shouldn't go there. Go where you feel you are strong. So if you have a group of brothers or Muslims going together, that is good also. So 2-3 brothers go together, they support each other, and they assimilate with the non-Muslim people in their country on a regular and consistent basis. So that is the leadership and communication aspect of this program. And that is the second part that I'm talking about. And now we will go to the third part.